Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, I'll just be a minute, I haven't finished setting up yet. It's took me so long to set up this stream because of the 5 cases and preparing the photos that I want to show and the videos, etc. So I'm still not finished. So I'll just be one sec because I've got to just set up on Twitter, share it on Twitter, and also I've just got to do a few things with the YouTube thing. Oh gosh, it's all been go this morning. I haven't even painted my nails yet. That's how busy it's been. Right, hang on. Let me go in the live stream. What else have I got to do? I've got all these. Oh, just not ready, am I? Anyway, hope you're all well. Let me know how you are in chat, and I'm sure you'll all be chatting away. I'll be coming on chat later in a minute. Just say hello to everybody. Before I get started on this, it is a marathon stream I'll be doing today. So make sure you've got your provisions. There's so many things to tell you about, and I thought it's just better to do one long stream. Later, I will chop up this stream, if you like, and put them out put the different things out in bite-sized chunks separate the cases. Oops, no, that's not. Hang on, sorry. I'm nearly there. Yeah, because some people might be interested in one case, not interested in another. Though I do think that most of my chatters will be interested in all these cases because they're all cases, apart from Lake and Riley, who I've only covered briefly. All the other cases we have followed in depth, haven't we? So, you'll be interested in the developments, I presume. Sorry, I still haven't finished. I'm nearly there. And then I can give you my full attention. Just to let you know, just say thank you so much, everybody who's contacted me to see if I'm okay because of all the floods and the rain and everything in Spain. It was pouring down with rain last night when I went to bed, and I have to say I was really nervous. I was terrified, in fact. I couldn't get sleep for ages. I was having panic attacks because I was thinking, oh, what if we get this same thing, And the thing is, it happens so quick in Valencia, where over 220 people died in Valencia. And yesterday we had more floods, but not here where I am. I'm in the south of Spain. Some parts of the south of Spain did get torrential floods, but as far as I know, there hasn't been any loss of life this time. There was much better warnings. Obviously, once bitten, twice shy. The government's trying to keep right on top of it. The weather agencies are trying to keep on top of the warnings. So as far as I know, although there were really bad floods, and I think there was quite a lot of damage, to cars and houses, etc. As far as I know, there was no loss of life yesterday. Anyway, when I woke up this morning, oh my God, it's like a different world, the sun's out. It's just like a different world now, basically. So we're back to sort of sunny services resumed, well, in this area anyway. And there's also, it's sunny, it's 21 degrees according to my my computer, bearing in mind it was only 6 degrees the other day. Yeah, the weather's been very strange, very fluctuating. So today is a lovely day. The sun's out. There's a light breeze, which will help to dry things off, of course. But yeah, it's all been very strange. And last night, honestly, my heart was thumping. It was absolutely pouring down, but it wasn't actually thundering and lightning. Whereas other days it's been thunder and lightning and not that much rain. But last night it was rain, 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 and no thunder and lightning. So very strange weather. But yeah, so I finally dropped off to sleep. I thought I was not going to be able to get off to sleep. But anyway, I did, and I've woke up this morning and it all looks different out there today. Okay. Oh, I think I've put one too many sweeteners in my coffee. That's too sweet. Yeah. Anyway, never mind. It's coffee. So, yes, we're going to talk about 5 cases today. Some of which, well, 4 of which we've been covering, but one brand new one that I haven't looked at before that somebody suggested to me, and it's back in the news because although it's a very old case, it's back in the news because there's been some developments. So first of all, we're going to look at the latest in the Sarah Sharif trial, which is why I've got Sarah's picture up there. Again, be prepared, it's all a big turnaround again now in this trial. My God, it's, don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but there's been a lot of changes in testimonies, etc. So in the end, I feel like you can't believe what anybody says, to be honest, because the testimonies change that many times. Then we're going to look at the developments with Anna Knežević, or Anna Hanau. I know her family likes her to be called now because Knežević was her married name. Let me just have a look. I'll just show you, just to remind you who these people are So we're going to look at some developments in the Anna Knežević case. She's the lady who went missing in Madrid. I went up to Madrid and went and did some sort of filming up there, etc., and made some inquiries, and she disappeared, but her husband was arrested. But anyway, we're going to look at that shortly. That's the second thing we're going to look at. Then we're going to look at this new case, and this is the case of Jojo Duggan, who is a young girl who went missing in Ireland many, many years ago. I don't know a lot about this case, but we're going to find out about it together. There's been some developments. Somebody was recently arrested for this case, though they have been released, but I think the investigations are ongoing. So it's gone from being a sort of more or less a cold case, if you like. Now it's a hot case again. And there's hopes that there may be some developments to find out what happened to Jojo Duggan, who was hitchhiking her way home when she completely disappeared, and she's thought to have been murdered, of course. Then we're going to talk about Laken Riley, who I have mentioned, but I didn't. I think there was something else going on at the time, so I didn't concentrate on it too much at the time. I just mentioned it in passing. Beautiful Laken. She was jogging on her university campus, and she was brutally attacked and murdered in a scenario very similar to the Rachel Marin case, which we have covered in a lot of depth. And I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about Laken's case. That's at trial at the moment, and it sort of links in a little bit with Rachel's case, because the man who's accused of murdering her, Jose Ibarra, is an illegal immigrant. So there's been a lot made of that in the recent elections, and because it's a very similar case to the case of Rachel Marin, who of course was walking a trail. And this is Rachel. Here's Rachel, very beautiful woman. And this was the guy, this was the photo fit of the guy who was thought to have killed her. He has finally been apprehended. Looks nothing like his photo fit, personally, I think. I think the photo fit was rubbish. Just shows you how you can't rely on photo fits. But anyway, his trial will be coming up next year. He's managed to get his trial delayed. It should have been this year. Should have been this year, but anyway, never mind. So we'll be finishing off talking about that, and we'll be talking. We're going to finish on a high, on some good news concerning Rachel. Okay, so let's get going without any further ado. Got a lot to get through. Is there anything? Oh, so first of all, let me say thank you, of course. Let me say that because I'll forget later. Though Nightbot will be on later to remind you to like, to subscribe, etc. Thank you so much, everyone who likes my videos, everyone who's subscribed. Please think about subscribing. Most people that watch YouTube videos, not only mine, but any creator, are not actually subscribed. And maybe people don't realize to subscribe is free. It sounds like it would cost money, doesn't it? But it doesn't. Press subscribe. It's completely free. To like the videos is completely free. And if you like a channel, not only mine, you should really try and support them in that way, because, YouTube creators, they're putting a lot of work and, contrary to popular belief, you don't get paid loads of money from videos, so that's why people create memberships, etc., and encourage people to buy Ko-fis, because the actual YouTube revenue, unless you're a big channel, of course, is not enormous. So, but most people do YouTube for the love of it, so I don't suppose it's about the money anyway. They'd probably still do it whether they were paid anything or not. But another thank you that I want to give, of course, is people that, are so generous in being members, supporting my channel in that way with a regular membership, or sometimes people buy me a Ko-fi or send me a PayPal or a super chat. I appreciate all those ways that people support my channel. Thank you so much. It really does mean everything. Okay, so because most of the time, obviously, people like doing their YouTube channels, but it gets they'll tell you when it gets hard, when people say nasty things, when you get trolls. Sometimes you just think, also if you're reporting on true crime as well, it takes a toll on you emotionally, because obviously not many laughs, is there, in true crime? But we seem to manage to talk about true crime in a respectful way, but we still do every now and again have a laugh in, big. And I don't mean about the crimes, obviously, or the victims, but we like to have a laugh about the perpetrators sometimes, because we don't have to respect them, do we? So we do, we support each other, and it's all good, isn't it? Okay, so that's my thanks. Let me say hello to whoever's here already and then we'll get started with the latest on the Sarah Sharif trial. Oh, Kelly, thank you so much. That's so kind, Kelly. Thank you. Right, let's go up to the top. Hi, David. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Darren. Good morning. Hi, Bertan. And Kelly, thank you so much. Yeah, it did happen so quick, Bertan. It was literally in 10 minutes it happened. Hi, Laurie. Oh, that coffee's horrible. I put too many sweeteners in it. Nightbot done you out of a job, David? No, because I think people listen to real people more than they listen to Nightbot. I think people just ignore Nightbot. Hi, Marie. I think sometimes people think Nightbot's a troll. Hi, Maria. Okay, so thank you, Kelly. Very kind. So we're going to start with the trial of Sarah Sharif's father, stepmother, and uncle. Now let's see, where's my picture? Now the last, have I taken the picture of? of them. No, haven't. So here we go. On the left here, we've got Irfan, who's Sarah's father. In the middle, we've got Baynash Batul, who is Sarah's stepmother. And on the right, we've got Faisal, who is Irfan's brother and Sarah's uncle. Now, it's first of all, well, let's just explain what happened. So Sarah died just of multiple injuries. There's not been given a specific cause of death so far. She had so many injuries, this little 10-year-old girl. This is Sarah. Let's have a look at Sarah. She had so many injuries, they were consistent with, a car accident or falling from a great height. They'd been inflicted over 2 years. There was a catalogue of abuse. I'm not going to go through it all again now. Sometimes it involved a cricket bat, human bites, iron burns, hit by a white rod, having a hood put over her face and duct tape. There were just multiple injuries on this poor girl. Anyway, in the end, her little body just couldn't take any more, and she just gave up the ghost, literally, just died. And then, of course, there was a big panic from Irfan, who'd been abusing her for years, and probably Baital as well, Baynash as well. And they all went off to Pakistan, the three of them, with the other children, for Sarah's natural brother, and then 3 other children, Irfan and Baynash, have from their relationship. Off they went to Pakistan. Irfan rang the police from Pakistan to say that Sarah was dead in the house, and the police had to go and sort of discover that scene. And little Sarah was in her little pajamas in bed, deceased. Then they came back to face the music, but really they came back because they were persona non grata in Pakistan. Their family had got fed up, of the whole situation. I think that's why they came back, really. I'm sure if they could have carried on in Pakistan being hidden, because there's no extradition treaty with Pakistan, I think they would have stayed. They came back because their family made it impossible for them to stay there because they were fed up. Anyway, they left the children there, but they came back and were arrested as soon as they hit the tarmac at Gatwick. And so the trial is continuing, and we've heard so far that initially Irfan confessed to killing Sarah. He confessed to it, said it was him. He was beating her legally, he said. How you beat someone legally, I'm not really quite sure, but that's what he said. But he didn't mean to kill her, and he was sorry and that. Then when it came to the trial, last week in the trial, he turned around and started blaming the stepmother, Baynash, and it was her fault. And then we had all the evidence from previous girlfriends. We had evidence from Olga, Sarah's biological mother, who unfortunately had sort of lost touch with Sarah, hadn't seen Sarah for 2 years. She failed to get custody of her. Olga is Polish. We had her testimony, and also the testimony of 2 other ex-girlfriends of Irfan's who said he was aggressive, controlling, etc. But he was insisting it wasn't him, it was Baynash Batul. She was the baddie. He was frightened of her. She was abusing him. She was in charge at home. He was at work all the time, and he would come home to find that Baynash had been abusing Sarah, etc. This is where we were the other day. Then boom, suddenly now he's taking responsibility, which is sort of odd, isn't it? What's happening here? Why is he taking responsibility now? It's like what's the word? Have they come to some agreement where maybe you can, maybe it's to try and save Baynash? Are they hoping that the children will go back to Baynash sooner or later? Surely not. She's never going to get those children back, is she? Even if she doesn't end up going to prison. I don't know, but hi Anon. Yes, we're going to be looking at the Jojo Dullard family, the Jojo Dullard case. After this one, we're just going to talk first. There's another, and Anna Knezovich. We're going to be talking about a few. Anyway, but welcome and thanks for watching. So let's see what the latest in the trial was. And as I say, you know, as I always say with this, you know, this is very sensitive. You know, it can be triggering. It's horrible to hear these injuries and what happened to Sarah. But having said that, I think we need to know, don't we? We need to know what happened to Sarah. This guy should be shown up for what he is. Anyway, so the latest the other day on Friday, that's today, so it's been updated today. Father admits lying to blame his wife for beating his daughter before her brutal death. Whereas earlier in the trial at the Old Bailey, he had accused his wife of tying up and beating his daughter, but now he's admitting. Right, let's have a look, see if we can find this. Why is that? There's a video here, but I think it's passed on to the next one. Let's have a look. So we have seen this video. This is the body cam footage from the night that Sarah was discovered.
Disfruta esta Navidad al máximo.
Just have to have a quick video,
gratis para que hagas con ellos lo que te dé la gana, como felicitar las fiestas a tu madre o a tu abuelo o a quien tú quieras. Así sí, simio.
Come on, let's have the video. Okay. So yeah, just a warning. So this was the police turning up at the house because he'd phoned the police. Little Sarah's in this house on her own, in bed.
So just to bear in mind, the mayor has just got contact us, so he's currently driving back to the address. He said he cannot give more details.
Police, hello, anyone in?
Very hysterical on the phone, they're really struggling.
So Irfan left the key under the mat. He took down all the door cam video, etc., before they left to go to Pakistan, but he left the key under the mat for the police. And this is the police arriving. Now we're going to look in a moment at some photos from the house as well. This house is immaculate. Honestly, absolutely immaculate. So somebody in this house was obsessed with cleaning. So bear in mind, it's a house where 3 adults live and 5 children. And the house is immaculate. Unbelievable. I wish my house was that immaculate. But, you know, I wouldn't swap my house, obviously, my household. You know, it's not perfect. But, you know, I wouldn't want a household like that. But this house is absolutely meticulous. It's actually too meticulous when you think they've just fled to Pakistan because he's murdered his daughter in the house. They've left the house like a show house.
Josh, you unlock the front door. Police, hello?
Yeah, it's so very eerie because oh, hang on. It's so very eerie because then you see the police going upstairs, and then of course, you know, what they find upstairs is not very nice. You know, they find Sarah up there, so very sad. Right, I'm trying to get back to the article now. But yeah, how could you know, how could it be left so clean and tidy? Let me just show you these photos. I'll just go down. I'm going to read the article, but just there's some photos of the house. Oh, there were some photos of the house. It must be on another article. Anyway, let's go through the article. Sorry, I'm... So Sarah Sharif's father inflicted inhuman violence upon his daughter, which was completely normalised in the family's household, jurors have heard. In a dramatic admission in the witness stand, Irfan Sharif told jurors he lied to them in a bid to blame his wife for the schoolgirl's death. And under questioning, Sharif said accusations he had made against Beinash Batul of tying up and beating his daughter were not true. When he was asked if he had lied and tried to implicate someone else, he said yes. He confessed to hitting the schoolgirl with a cricket bat. As I say, take caution here because it's horrible. Hitting the schoolgirl with a cricket bat as she was bound with packaging tape, as well as to repeatedly throttling her with his bare hand and to hitting her with a metal pole as she lay dying. Oh my God. But he continues to deny her murder, telling the court, she died because of me, but I didn't want to kill her. Just unbelievable. What, hitting her while she was lay dying? Goodness me. So, key points. The father admits trying to blame his wife for the daughter's death. He is accused of being the common denominator. Irfan Sharif admits lying during cross-examination. He confesses to beating her but denies her murder and admits tying his daughter with tape before beating her. So the trial is obviously continuing today as well. So what is set to happen today? The cross-examination of Irfan Sharif is set to resume once again with prosecutor William Emlyn Jones Casey to continue questioning. On Thursday, he called the taxi driver a coward as jurors heard that violence was completely normalised within their household, as Sarah's father admitted using a cricket bat on his daughter. So the inhuman violence meted out to Sarah Sharif was completely normalised in the family with all three adults in on it. All three adults in on it. Well, they must have known about it. You know, even if the others didn't do it, they must have known about it. Anyway, they're all, so he's 42, his wife is 30, his brother is 29, and they're accused of being party to years-long abuse, which culminated in her death last August. Now, it just makes you think, because there has been talk about the other children being abused as well. Is that why they've taken the children off to Pakistan? Also, he did try to blame the children for doing it as well. Not only did he try to blame Beinash for doing it, which I think personally she has had something to do with it, because to me it seems entirely suspicious that Sarah had bite marks. And Beinash, she was the only one that wouldn't give her dental impressions. So to me, that says that she is probably the one that bit Sarah, because the other two did volunteer their dental impressions and they were not consistent with the bites on Sarah. So Beinash is the biter, definitely. So she was found dead at the family home in Woking, Surrey, the day after they fled to Pakistan. Now, it's amazing because Sarah is always smiling on every picture. You see of her, this is her in a hijab because, you know, they started dressing her in the hijab because she was covered in bruises. So, you know, hijabs are very convenient, aren't they, for covering up bruises, etc. Let's listen to, this is the 999 call. Let's listen to that. We've not listened.
I need you to take a breath because I cannot understand what you're saying, okay? Your daughter has died.
I killed my daughter. I killed my daughter. My daughter is dead.
Who's killed your daughter?
It's me.
Okay.
The father.
How?
I said she was naughty and physically chastised.
I'm going to need you to slow down, okay? How have you killed your daughter?
I beat her up. It wasn't my intention to kill her, but I beat her up too much.
What led to this all happening?
I think she was naughty over the last 3-4 weeks, and I was giving her punishment that she to sort her out. And just I did something and she died.
Was she breathing when you left?
No, she was not. I tried to resuscitate her, tried to give her CPR, everything, but I failed. I left in panic.
I need you to listen to me, okay? When did this happen?
About 36 hours ago.
This happened 36 hours ago?
Yes. I'm a cruel father.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, that's exactly what you are, a cruel father. Why can't I get... Hang on. So, yeah, that's very emotional, isn't it? That he only rang the police, 36 hours later. He rang the ambulance or the police or whatever. He didn't even try to get us saved. He could have phoned an ambulance. They might have been able to bring her back. It's just foul, isn't it? It's foul. So foul. Anyway, so that's where we are with this trial. So he is now admitting to killing Sarah. So Sarah's injuries were similar to those suffered by falling 20 foot from a roof. Good God. He broke her spine. He hit her so hard with a cricket bat that he broke her spine. And they asked him, did you intend to cause her at least a serious injury? And he said, no. Oh, come on. Right. Anyway, just wanted to let you know where we are. This was them arriving at Gatwick, but there were some pictures of the house. Let me see. There were some pictures of the house on one of the things I was looking at. And anyway, just take it from me, it was a complete show home. It's perfectly clean. I cannot believe that house, is it on this one? I can't believe that a house where they fled at the last minute, because of him murdering his daughter, could be so clean, tidy, orderly. How is that? They must have been terrified of him to keep that house so clean and tidy. Bye, Kelly. Night, night. So that's where we are with that case. He's now confessed and confessing to it. So what will that mean for Baynash? But where did the bite marks come from? So more to come. The trial continues today. So we're going to move off that. You'll be glad to hear because, it is so very sad. But let's have some good news in the world of crime. We've got a little bit of good news. Hang on. Nothing's ever brilliant news, obviously, because just the fact that we're covering a case means that somebody is deceased. But a little bit of good news in the case of Anna Knezevich is that finally, and it's taken a long time, they have charged her husband with murder. Now, Anna and David. Anna is from Colombia originally. David is from Serbia. They met in America, in Florida, and they set up a business there, and all going very well, very successful business. There's a lot of money involved in this case. Anyway, as time went on, David, he seems to have been very controlling. He had affairs with other women, etc. So in the end, after 12 years of putting up with his crap, Anna decided she was going to leave him and start a new life in Spain. So that's what she did. and they were going through a divorce, which his solicitor says wasn't acrimonious, but later it turns out that probably it was, because Anna obviously wanted 50% of their business, which was a substantial amount of money. The business is worth millions, as she wanted 50% as she was due. No children involved in this case. They hadn't had any children, but she wanted 50% of the business that they'd started between them and grown between them. And David, he didn't want her to have 50%. He only wanted her to have a much smaller amount, maybe even 20 or 30%, or even nothing, you know. So he thought he would take matters into his own hands, allegedly. So Anna went off to Spain, came to Spain to live, and she went to live in Madrid. She was having a great time. She was making friends. She was going places, you know, visiting different areas. She had plans to meet her friend on the Friday that she disappeared. She had plans to meet her friend at the train station. They were supposed to be going to Barcelona. Anyway, she disappeared. So she went on the Friday. She was texting her friends saying she was looking for a new place to live, how happy she was. She's had her hair done, you know, normal sort of things that women talk to amongst their friends. And then she just disappeared. She just literally disappeared. No more messages. Well, no, that's not quite true. A couple more messages the next day, saying that she'd met someone in the street. She just was walking down the street and she got talking to someone, and they had this magic connection. And she sent this message to some of her friends in English. She sent the message, and to her other friends and her family, she sent it in Spanish, because Anna is from Colombia. Her native language is Spanish, but she speaks English. So she sent these messages to her friends and family saying she was fine. She was going off to stay with this fantastic guy that she'd met. He's got a holiday house just outside Madrid, and she was going off for a couple of weeks. She might not be able to talk to them because the internet signal wasn't very good. And that's it. But anyway, both of all the people that received these messages said, one, that they didn't feel like the sort of message that Anna would send, that there's no way that Anna would go off with someone she'd just met in the street. Also, they said that the English, both the English and the Spanish, was a bit strange, you know, a bit odd. It didn't feel right. These messages didn't feel right. Well, of course, they were completely correct, because it turns out that these messages were sent by David, her husband, the cheesy grin guy, that in fact, it turned out that he had met another Colombian girl online, and he had asked this Colombian girl to translate these texts into Spanish for him so he could send them to Anna's family. I mean, how thick is this guy? You know, criminals thankfully are normally pretty thick. That's how they get caught, isn't it? But he was thicko of thickos, and also he completely underestimated the reach of the police. And I think he underestimated the Spanish police, especially because he thought, you know, he didn't realize that in this day and age, in this small world that we live in, you know, you can commit a crime in Spain. That doesn't mean to say they won't know about it in Colombia. So he's met this girl in Colombia on a dating app. He's asked her to translate these messages. And it was because her mother, when this girl told her mother that she'd met this guy on the internet, blah, 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 her mum, as mums do, said, oh, well, who is he then? And like, oh, because he'd used his real name as well. So that's how thick he is. He'd used his real name to meet this girl. He wasn't even clever enough to catfish, you know. It was like, he'd used his real name, his real profile to, you know, not realizing that these things can get connected up. But, you know, police can join the dots. Anyway, her mother got suspicious and Googled his name, the real name, and of course it came up that this David Knežević, his wife, was missing. And that's how he got caught, really. I mean, there were other things as well, but this is one of the main bits of evidence they've got against him. So, of course, they phoned the police, and then the arrest of David Knežević was a fabulous result to a truly international collaboration of police. You know, the police in Madrid, the Spanish police, the FBI, the American police, the Colombian police, and also the Serbian police. And David did not realize this. He was on all their radars by now. They reached out to each other. You know, how did he ever think he would get away with it? So that was one bit of evidence they had, that he had asked this Colombian girlfriend of his, online girlfriend, to translate these messages. She talked about it to her mum. Her mum had got suspicious, Googled his name, saw his wife was missing, and phoned the police. Then in the meantime, the other evidence against David is he was seen. He said he'd not been to Spain. He had no reason to go to Spain. He'd been in Serbia all this time. He's got a flat in Serbia. And it turns out he actually rented a car in Serbia. Let's put a picture of Anna up, get his face off there. He rented a car in Serbia. He drove to Spain. The reason we know he drove to Spain is, the mileage on the car. And when he took the car back to the car rental people, he'd had the windows tinted. He'd also changed the number plate, you know, so you don't do that with a rental car. Has anyone here ever rented a car and then thought, oh, I think I'll have the windows tinted while I'm renting it, or I think I'll change the number plate? How did he think that wasn't going to be suspicious? Anyway, we know he went to Spain because he was on CCTV in a hardware store near Anna's house buying black spray paint and duct tape, and he had no mask on, no nothing, you know, he could be seen as clear as day. So everybody knows that he was in Madrid at the time. He then went to Anna's block of flats, somehow got in through the door with a motorcycle helmet on, and then he sprayed the CCTV cameras. But when he sprayed the CCTV cameras black, he lifted up his helmet visor. He lifted it up and you can see his face as clear as day. So he's reaching up to the CCTV and you can see him. I mean, it's crazy. So then he sprayed with black paint the CCTV in the lobby of the apartment block where Anna was living. He obviously then somehow very sadly got into her flat. Either he broke in or, I don't know, did he knock on the door? Who knows how he got in? And we don't know how he killed Anna or what he did. We don't know yet. Anyway, maybe the police know, but they haven't released it yet. And then the other daft thing he did, so when he sprayed the black CCTV, sprayed it black, he didn't do it properly, so you could still see. And he was seen coming out of the lift or coming out of the apartment carrying a suitcase. Now, because when I went there, I went to this place and I remember, saying, how did he get her out of this apartment? Anyway, that's how he got her out. He put her in a suitcase, probably one of her own suitcases. And because she was very tiny, Anna, she was exceptionally tiny. He brought her out of the apartment in a suitcase, allegedly, took her off wherever he took her. The thing is, we don't know where she is. Let's see if I can find the pictures of him spraying that bloody... we don't know where. He then obviously went back to Serbia, but the only problem that there's been in this case is she hasn't been found yet. Bless her. So Anna's body has not been found. The police and the FBI have been looking for her for ages now. There's still a chance we might see her. They might find her, but you know. Anyway, so let's see these photos. So the problem is, so the police found out he was coming back to Florida somehow, I don't know how, and they arrested him. And they charged him with kidnapping. So for all this time, he's been charged with kidnapping. Look, this is him. This is him. It's chilling, that, isn't it? This is so chilling. This is him going in the in her apartment block in his motorcycle helmet. But look, I don't know how well you can see that. This is him. It's obviously him. He's lifted up the crash helmet. He's reaching up and spraying the CCTV, but you can see his eyes as clear as anything. It's perfectly obvious it is him. And then also, he was seen in the hardware store without a helmet on or a mask or anything, buying the black spray paint. So, you know, there's a tight case against him. But of course, he's still insisting, no, wasn't him. Anna will be alive somewhere. She went off with this man. You know, she went off with this man and she could walk back in at any minute. You know, so very strange. But very clear case. I don't know if you can see these very well. There you go. You can see this one better. So, yeah, this was him spraying the... How could he not know there were... Well, he obviously knew there were cameras, but did he not think? I mean, that is just clearly him. Anyway, I'm glad he's stupid. It's a good job he's stupid because, you know, that's why he's got caught. That's why he's been arrested. So authorities say David Konobovich, I call him, Knezovich, is the man pictured here purchasing duct tape and spray paint. Obviously, clearly it is him in a store in Madrid, Spain. No, his eyes and look, you know, you can see it's him. What a knob. David Konobovich is a total knob. Anyway, he was arrested at the airport when he tried to return to Florida, and he was charged with kidnapping. And the good news is he is now finally, even though Anna's body has not been found, he has been charged with murder. So let's have a look. Let's just have a look at a news item about it. Videos. Yeah, let's have a look at what oh, hang on. Come on, where's the murder charge? Why is there not can't find a video about it? Okay, hang on, sorry, bear with. Sorry, I'm getting there. Okay. Where's the volume?
Was arrested back in May. And at first, meanwhile, a South Florida man whose estranged wife was last seen 9 months ago is now facing murder charge in this case. David Knesevich was arrested back in May and at first only charged with her kidnapping.
NBC6's Marissa Bagg is in downtown Miami with what led to the new charge. Marissa?
Well, Jackie, this new federal murder charge could carry with it the possibility of the death penalty if, in fact, David Knesevich was found guilty in his wife's murder. But his attorneys are adamant he is innocent.
Yeah, whatever.
9 months after Ana Maria Knesevich disappeared in Spain, federal agents indicted her husband for murder in Miami. 36-year-old David Knesevich is accused of kidnapping and now killing his wife of 13 years. Ana Maria's family had this to say about the new federal charge.
This brings us no joy. It's a step in the right direction for justice for my sister.
Ana Maria was last seen in Madrid in February. Her whereabouts remain a mystery. According to court documents, FBI investigators say her husband David resembles a man who spray-painted security cameras outside of her apartment in Madrid the day she disappeared. The FBI arrested David when he flew back to Miami in May after spending a few months in his home country, Serbia. In federal court today, his defense attorneys questioned the evidence in the murder indictment filed against him.
There's no evidence then, and there's no evidence now that...
God, I hate this woman. I hate her. This Jane Weintraub. She was the one that said last time that he was laughing and joking in court. And when someone said, do you think it's suitable that your client was laughing and joking? She said, oh, well, he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. Oh, my God, what an awful woman. Awful woman.
David kidnapped her, murdered her.
Defense attorney Jane Weintraub went on to speculate as to how Ana Maria went missing, which clearly upsets her family.
To please stop disparaging my sister's name. Have some respect for the family. We're going through enough. My mom is going through enough because all of what this guy did.
Why do people pick on the families? Honest to God, I really don't understand. It's like with the Richard Allen thing and the Delphi murders, people accusing Libby's own sister of stuff. The person who's guilty here, she says there's no evidence. He's fucking spraying out the CCTV. He was buying black spray paint. He came out of her apartment with carrying a suitcase. What does she mean there's no evidence? Oh my God, what's wrong with people? Yes, everyone is innocent till proven guilty, but don't be a fucking idiot and say there's no evidence. Of course there's evidence. Oh my God, it just gets me so angry. Sorry about swearing.
And the FBI has been working with police in Madrid as well as international law enforcement on this case ever since Ana Maria went missing back in February. The next federal hearing in this case is set for next Friday. Reporting live in downtown Miami, Marissa Bagg, NBC6 News.
Right, well, God, there's that many hearings at the moment of various cases that we're looking at. I'm like, I'll try and, so next Friday, she said, so I presume she doesn't mean today, she means next Friday. What the hell? What is wrong with people? Oh, dear God. Look, I know everyone's entitled to a defense, but please don't, be sensible. He's actually been seen. They've got video of him spraying the thing. This is not circumstantial evidence. This is like proper evidence. I bet the police, honest to God, I don't, not only I couldn't be a defense lawyer, I don't think I could be the police because, the police have got to stay stum, haven't they, about everything. And you just want to go and get, punch that woman in the face, wouldn't you, and say, hey, are you mad? God, when I tell you, I know she hasn't murdered anyone, but she's taking money for defending that twonk. I don't know, to me that just seems like You don't have to say ridiculous things like that. All you have to say is, well, my client's innocent till proven guilty. We're going to provide the strongest case we can, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to talk a load of shite, do you? Make yourself look a fool. Anyway, never mind. Calm down. Oh, God, I'm getting so angry. Anyway, and I really feel that Anna's another of those cases. I feel very, I've spoken to her friend, Sana. I've been there and sort of looked at where it happened and everything. You get this feel really invested with these cases. And although I don't know Anna, I feel like I knew her. And it just makes me so angry how that woman could turn around and say there's no evidence when there clearly is. And she's a woman. Do you know what I mean? You can't even defend another woman. God. Okay, best get off this subject before I go totally apeshit, because I feel like I could go totally apeshit over this, really. I can feel it happening. I'm trying to be level because I've got 3 more cases to get through. Yeah. So now we're going to look at a case now that we've never looked at before. Well, I'm not saying you've never looked at before. You may have. Oh, and this is the case of Jojo Duggan. And this was, somebody suggested this. Well, they didn't suggest it to me. They told me about this case. Otherwise, I would never have probably heard of it. This is an Irish case. So we're tripping around the world today. We've been to, we started off in the UK in Surrey. Then we went to Madrid, Spain and Florida. And now we're going to Ireland, where Jojo Dullard disappeared. Let's have a look. Let me put down the things let me get David off my screen before I go completely apeshit about that guy. I just want to get his grinning face. So I'm putting some windows down. Just want to get his grinning face off my bloody screen. Complete twonk. Where am I? So we're looking for Jojo. I've got lots of windows open, as you might imagine. There she is. Bless her. So this is Josephine Jojo Dullard. So she's known as Jojo. Now let me read out the police information about her from the Garda in Ireland. So Josephine Jojo Dullard, she went missing on the 9th of November. All right, so we're coming up, we've just passed a sort of an anniversary, if you like. She went missing on the 9th of November in 1995. 5'4", approximately 163 centimetres, medium build, dark shoulder length hair. And here's a photo of her. So they've age progressed from 21 to 34. She looks, more or less as that she's thought to be deceased. Let me just say that. I think actually they have turned it to a murder inquiry now, so she's not likely to be found alive. Anyway, so she was born on the 25th of January. She's been missing since 11:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 9th of November. At that time, she phoned her friend from a phone box in Moon, County Kildare. She told her friend she was hitching a lift from Moon to her home in Callan, County Kilkenny. A short time later, a woman answering Jojo's description was seen leaning in the back door of a dark-coloured Toyota Carina type car. Excuse me, my voice is going. There were further sightings of a woman similar to Jojo in Castledermot, County Kildare, which is 5 miles from Moon, at around midnight on the same evening, Thursday, 9th of November. The driver or occupants of this Toyota Carina type car have never been traced. That's always a bad sign when people don't come forward, isn't it? Jojo is described as 5'4" in height, medium build, dark shoulder length hair. She was 21 years old when she went missing, bless her. So that's the police, the Garda, the Irish police website. Let's have a look at what's... So there's been some, let's say, developments later, recently. And I'm going to let you know what's been happening. Now, they've recently arrested someone for her murder, but he has been released. So let's have a look. I've always got to accept the cookies. So the man arrested over Jojo Dullard disappearance is released without charge. That's frustrating. Now, I know that they're searching, the police are searching, seem to have some reason to believe that Jojo, or some evidence can be found about Jojo's case in County Wicklow, open ground in County Wicklow, and the police are continuing to search, even though the man who's been arrested in connection has been released. Now, I'm going to do... I'm planning sort of a video, a proper video, if you like. You know, obviously I'm talking about it now on the live stream, and I will be editing this video to, you know, releasing sort of smaller parts. But I am planning like a proper video with much more detail, because, you know, I do the videos every now and again about missing people. Unsolved, the unsolved cases, and I think Jojo's is a case that needs looking at and needs as much awareness as possible. Now, it seems like the police have got someone in their sights, doesn't it? It's just a question of the evidence, isn't it? You know, that's what it comes down to at the end, to get a case to court. This is why I really do believe that for cases to actually get to court in the first place, they're probably likely to be guilty. I know everyone's entitled to their trial and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, to actually get a case to court is hard, because the police need so much evidence. They've got to get it past the Crown Prosecution Service or the DA, I think it is in America, isn't it? Or whoever it is in whichever country it is. You know, it's not easy to even get a case to court unless you've got conclusive evidence. And it's always difficult if there's not a body, of course. Or, you know, if they can't find Jojo's possessions, etc., that will probably have DNA on them and things like that, you know. And, you know, nowadays we saw in the Delphi murders trial, people get a bit hysterical if there isn't any DNA now, whereas years ago we never had any DNA and people still got charged with murder and prosecuted with murder and found guilty. But now it's like a hysteria if there's no DNA, because we've got so used to it now. So they obviously feel that this man that they've released is probably the perpetrator or knows something. But they've released him without charge because they haven't got that smoking gun. They haven't got that smoking gun yet. They haven't got the proper amount of evidence yet. If it ever comes to, oh, here's Nightbot even. I'm just going to put up the little, yeah, hi Nightbot. Yeah. So I've distracted myself now talking about Nightbot. So yeah, obviously that. So a man in his 50s. So bear in mind, this was such a long time ago. He would have been young then, wouldn't he? Would he have been a similar age as Jojo? So this was 95. It happened. Jojo was 20. It's nearly 30 years ago. Yeah, so he's probably similar age to Jojo. So Garda said a search operation is continuing on open ground in County Wicklow near the border with Kildare. The land is being searched and evacuated before a technical and forensic examination is carried out. On Tuesday morning, excavation work was underway with 2 vehicles on site and a large number of people operating in the surrounding fields who appeared to be using metal detectors in a systematic search around the field. So there's a reason why the police have arrested this guy, isn't there? And there's a reason why they've released him, and the reason they've released him is they haven't found anything yet, I suppose. I think you can safely assume that as soon as they find anything, he will be back in custody, won't he? I don't think, they've got we don't know what the reason is that they suspect him. Maybe somebody over all this time, he was scared to talk before. Now he's prepared to talk. That's probably what's happened. Maybe it may be what do they call it? A tip-off is the reason why they arrested him. Or maybe they had some evidence that they've now been able to get DNA off. Who knows? So this on Tuesday morning, excavation work was underway with 2 vehicles on site and a large number of people operating in the surrounding fields who appeared to be using metal detectors in a systematic search around the field. Josephine Jojo Dullard went missing on November the 9th, 1995, while on her way home to Callan in County Kilkenny after socialising in Bruxelles Bar on Dublin's Harry Street. So she's gone out and hitched her way home, which seems, dangerous to us, doesn't it? But I think in those times people did it a lot more. I don't know. I would never hitchhike. I would be terrified of hitchhiking. But then maybe I've just watched too much true crime. But even when I was young, I have taken lifts off people. Having said that, when I was young, I have taken lifts off people. God, when I think about it now, I've said before in video, I'm luckier that I'm alive, because once I'd been out and if I missed the last bus and I'd had a drink and whatever, I'd get a lift off anybody. Yeah, it's true, I would, when I was her age or younger than her. Anyway, she missed her last bus to Kilkenny and instead boarded a 10 p.m. bus to Naas, County Kildare, intending to hitchhike the rest of the way home. Oh my God. She hitched a lift from Naas to the slip road on the M9 motorway at Kilcullen, County Kildare, and at 11:15 she got another lift to Moon. So these people have obviously come forward. Then she called her friend Mary Cullinan at 11:37 from a phone box, because you didn't have your mobiles then, did you? You only had your phone boxes. And during that call, Miss Dullard told Miss Cullinan that a car had stopped for her and she was going to take the lift. And that was the last known interaction with Miss Dullard. And the Gardaí launched a fresh appeal from her sister Kathleen Bergin on Saturday to mark the 29th anniversary of her disappearance. And she appealed to anyone with knowledge to help bring her home. So can we see that? Or maybe there's a video, I don't know. So this is her sister. We need to bring Jojo home. Oh, she's out there somewhere and we need to bring her home. Yeah, because I think although they've accepted, I expect that she is dead, they want to bring her home and give her a burial. It's like we were saying about Samantha Murphy. And that's in Australia. It doesn't matter what country you're in, doesn't matter what culture it is. People, there's something about bringing a body home and giving it a respectful burial, whatever your culture is, that means so much to people. Now, there's something, just one more thing I wanted, because I'll see if I can find it, because of the possessions she had with her. She had like, let's see, she had like a, oh, there she is. She had what you'd call, she had her Sanyo stereo cassette player model MGP21 with her at the time of her disappearance. Now, that's very interesting because, if it's a cassette player, that will still be somewhere, wherever it's been discarded. You know, if they find it on that ground, it will be there, because it's, you know, it might be in a terrible condition or whatever, but they've got the model number and everything. So that'll be something that when they find it, if and when they find it, they will be able to tie conclusively to JoJo's disappearance. Right, so it was 2020 when they upgraded her case to that of murder. And the Gardaí said at the time they were satisfied that serious harm came to Miss Dullard on the night of 9th of November. And they said it's another traumatic day for JoJo's family, as her case is publicly confirmed to be now an active murder investigation. Yeah, because I suppose right up to then the family would be sort of half hoping that maybe, you know, she'd just run off somewhere, and that, even though they would probably know inside. But when the police officially declared it was now a murder investigation, and there must be a reason for that, you know, makes you wonder what information they've got that we don't know about. But so let's just hope. Let's hope against hope. This is where all the searches are going on. Wicklow, Kildare. Oh, 2 properties were also searched. Let's just hope against hope that something's found and this case gets resolved. And now I've officially adopted this case. We'll be following that through to the end like we do. Okay, so that is the case. And as I say, I will be doing a full-length video just about JoJo with all the details. I just wanted to give you you know, some information about it and let you know that we are going to be following that. So we're going to move on now to the next case. Now, actually, the 2 cases that I'm now going to talk about. First one is that of Laken Riley. Riley, same surname as me. This is a case, as I say, I only touched on briefly, but this case has big ties, really. Well, I say it has ties. It has similarities to the case of Rachel Marin, who we have covered on, you know, many times. We've looked, oh gosh, remember Rachel's case from when she was brutally murdered. We followed it right from day one, virtually. And sorry, I'm just looking, I'm going to upload a picture of Rachel as well so that I can show you. Yeah, we've looked at Rachel's case many times, and not so much at Laken's case, which I'm not sure why, really. I think this, of course, is Rachel. I think there must have been other things. I don't know why we've not really looked at Laken's case. I don't know. There must probably other things going on at the time. There's always something going on. But Laken Riley, very similar to Rachel Marin. She went off for a jog. She was a university student. She was let me just put some windows down and put some others back up. Let me give you a little summary, if you like, of the whole sort of the case. It's talking about the trial, but I want something that gives us a summary of the actual what happened. Yeah, so Laken was a student at Augusta University, and she was found dead in a wooded area on the campus on February the 22nd this year, and after she didn't return from a run. And it's alleged that Ibarra, her killer, the murderer, Jose Ibarra, we're going to look at him in a minute, unfortunately we have to, he killed her by inflicting blunt force trauma to her head and by asphyxiating her. And he seriously disfigured her head by striking her multiple times with a rock. Now that is exactly what happened to Rachel, isn't it? You know, Rachel's face was obliterated by her killer. So not only he RAPD'd her, killed her, but he also, you know, they said that he also seemed to want to obliterate her face. And this guy has done similar thing. So the charges are 10-count indictment, aggravated battery, kidnapping with bodily injury, aggravated assault with intent to RAPE, obstructing or hindering a person making an emergency telephone call, and tampering with evidence. And also he concealed evidence, a jacket and gloves, and also include the offence of malice murder. So, you know, he's got a lot of charges against him. Let's just have a look at let's have a look at this. Now, the other similarity,
gruesome new detail.
The other similarity with Laken's murder and Rachel's is both their murderers are immigrants, illegal immigrants. They're not American citizens. So you can imagine, I think part of the reason that Donald Trump probably won the election was this problem over the borders, isn't it? It's a big thing. You know, we can't get away from it. You know, I'm not anti-immigration at all, but particularly Rachel's murderer, he was already a murderer when he crossed the border to come from El Salvador originally. There was an Interpol red alert out about him. You know, so how did he even manage to cross the border? Now, the thing we've got to be careful of is that's not the other immigrants' fault. I mean, there are lots of immigrants who come into the country who are not murderers, etc. But the thing is, if the borders are not good enough, that's not the immigrants' fault. That's the border control's fault. So something's got to be done about that. Both of these murderers, you know, and I do, you know, Donald Trump, and I suppose you can't blame him in a way. And we're going to see how he did make political capital out of this, particularly in the Rachel case. And we'll look at that shortly, as I say. But again, so this is where the similarities, so many similarities with Rachel's case. Let's just have a look at this. But in this case, the guy who did it, Jose, he had no previous convictions. He's originally from God, I've forgotten, but it'll tell us in this. And he was married. His wife said he was, you know, as they do. Oh, you know, can't believe that Jose would do this, but he did it.
Details tonight in the case of the nursing student killed while running on the University of Georgia campus, how the suspect allegedly tried to conceal her death amid major questions now about why he was in this country. Steve Osunsami in Georgia again tonight.
In arrest records, prosecutors say that this 26-year-old from Venezuela, accused of murder on the University of Georgia campus, did conceal the death.
Venezuela he's from. And when this initially happened, there were some thoughts that it may be Rachel's killer who did it, because there are similarities, you know, in the actual attack. But obviously they did have DNA for Rachel Marin's murderer, Victor the Viper, as like the horrible Victor. They did have his DNA, and obviously it didn't match with Jose's, but there were some thoughts initially that it could be Rachel Marin's killer that did it.
Of 22-year-old Laken Riley by dragging the victim to a secluded area. Riley was a cross-country runner at her old high school in the Atlanta suburbs and was a nursing student at a school near UGA when she was out running near this lake and was killed. Jose Ibarra is in a Georgia jail charged with murder tonight. and his story is adding fuel to the fire over immigration.
Mr. Ibarra has been charged with malice murder, felony murder, aggravated battery.
It's now a year and a half after authorities first arrested him for crossing the southern U.S. border unlawfully.
So this is the wall, is it? I take it that Donald Trump started building. I don't know. So how are all these people getting in? I would like to know how Victor got in, because Victor actually had, a red warning on, from Interpol. He was already a murderer. That is, that is really irritating, isn't it? He wasn't only an illegal immigrant coming over to make a new life. The guy was fleeing a murder that he did in his home country. He should never have got over the border. Apparently, he tried 3 times to get over the border, and it was the 3rd time that he got over. And shortly after he got over the border, this is Victor I'm talking about, not Jose. He did that serious assault in Los Angeles, didn't he? Which he was probably fleeing from to go to Maryland, right over the other end of the country, and murder Rachel Marin. So you can't, I can see we're going to have a look at Donald Trump in a minute, unfortunately, talking to Rachel Marin's mother. And I know that there's a bit of a conflict in that family, because I do know that Rachel's first partner, Matt, he doesn't like it being politicized, the murderer. And in fact, even Rachel's mother doesn't want Rachel to be thought of as, as a political tool. She wants her to be remembered as Rachel. But I think she does think she's going to hold Donald Trump to account. Donald Trump says he's going to close the borders. Well, come on then, Donald, you've got to do it. Because if he doesn't do it, there's as you know, I'm not necessarily, I'm definitely not a Donald Trump supporter. But there are 2 things that I'd like to see him do. There are 2 things that he says he's going to do that I think would be good things, but is he going to do them? First one is get some peace in the world. He says he can stop all the wars, and he says he can close the borders. So now we'll see if he does it or not. He's got to put his money where his mouth is now.
And in that same time, federal officials say he was also arrested in New York City for a motor vehicle license violation, acting in a manner to injure a child less than 17. He was released each time. He and his brother were living in an apartment building near jogging trails where Riley was killed. Prosecutors say Ibarra prevented her from making a 911 call and used an object to kill her.
So she tried to phone 999, this poor girl, not 999, 911, and he stopped us. That's part of the charges against him. And yeah, the thought of him and his brother living round about there, and Laken and other people from that university, other girls would have been going out running. But it's like Samantha Murphy going out running in Ballarat. Just it seems like you're just not safe. You can't just go out for a jog wherever you are. And we've got to remember that in Ballarat with Samantha Murphy, it's not an immigrant who's killed her. So even if they do close the wall and, stop illegal immigrants coming over who may have, it doesn't mean to say nobody's going to get murdered again, does it? Because most murderers probably aren't immigrants, to be honest. If you did a list of all the murders in America last year, there's probably a bigger number of them that wouldn't be immigrants than would be. So it's a fact. He's got to stop these immigrants coming over who've already got a bloody, already got a history, already got a conviction. How that Victor got through, I'll never know. He should have been arrested at the border. So the borders aren't working, are they? Whatever border control there is, it's not working properly.
This was a crime of opportunity where he saw an individual and bad things happen.
Unrelated to the murder, the suspect's brother was also arrested for having a fake green card, and the university is announcing more than $7 million in security upgrades, including better lighting and more cameras. David?
Steve Osunsami on this case in Georgia again tonight. Thank you, Steve.
So that's like what's happening in Maryland on the Mar and Par Trail. You know, they put all these cameras. I mean, it's too late for Rachel Marin. They put all the cameras up and this, that, and the other. But anyway, you shouldn't need cameras. You should be able to go for a run on a nature trail or go jogging or do whatever the hell you want. You should be able to do it. You shouldn't have to have all that security. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in, is it? Now, the reason that Lake and Riley's case is back in the news is because this guy, he has chosen to go for a bench trial. So, in other words, he doesn't want a jury. So his jury selection had been scheduled, but he said, no, he doesn't want a jury trial. He wants a bench trial. He wants a judge to try him or to find him guilty or not guilty or whatever. So, yeah, it started. It's just started. I think it starts today, actually. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So the defense have said they agree with his decision. Let me just share this. So I wonder, why do you think he's asked for a bench trial? Does he think he's got more chance? He probably knows that a jury, the way, you know, this febrile sort of atmosphere in America at the moment about immigrants, he probably knows he's got absolutely no chance with a jury trial, whereas he might have a little chance with a judge trial.
For the 30-plus games still on their schedule, it sounds like having a professional like Charlie is going to make that task a little easier.
It relaxes them and it takes some of the stress away.
No.
In her coaching profile on the website, guys, it says Charlie enjoys long hikes, belly rubs, swimming, collecting sticks, and treats.
Oh, we love Charlie. That's your Good Morning America first look.
Have a great weekend.
America's #1 news, ABC.
Never mind. So the suspect accused of killing 22-year-old nursing student Laken Riley has waived his right to a jury trial. So the judge granted the defence's motion for a bench trial, and it's scheduled to begin on Friday. So why do you think? Let me know what you think in chat. Why do you think he's done that? I think it's probably because he knows that, you know, especially now Trump's got in, he knows that the mood in America is anti-immigrant, so he's got no chance with whatever jury they come up with. So, yeah. So Laken's death, along with Rachel Marin's death, has become a rallying cry for immigration reform from many conservatives, including President-elect Donald Trump. He mentioned her by name as recently as November the 3rd, when he visited Macon, Georgia, in a final pitch to voters. So there he is. Now we're going to have a listen to what he asked for a change of venue as well, but he's been denied that. He didn't get the change of venue that he asked for, but he's got the right to a bench trial. Now, I want to look at what his wife says about it. So, yeah, he's a different you know, whereas Victor, Rachel Marin's killer, he's a bit of like nomadic, isn't he? He's traveling all around America, a lone wolf, like no ties anywhere. He's just getting casual work on building sites, etc., wreaking havoc wherever he goes and then moving somewhere else. So he started off in Los Angeles, then he was in Maryland, right over the other side of America, then he was arrested in Oklahoma, whereas this guy is married. You know, he's got more settled life, if you like. Apparently, let's hear what his wife says about him. But you know what? People don't always know the person they live with, do they? That's the problem. Jose Antonio Ibarra's wife speaks out after Laken Riley's death. So let's see what she said. So the police chief said that Ibarra, originally from Venezuela, was not a United States citizen, had no prior history of violence, describing the situation as an isolated incident and a crime of opportunity with no motive. Well, probably sex was the motive. 3 to 4 other people were taken into custody during the investigation, but only he has been charged. I mean, why did he kill her? Why did he do that? You know, anyway. So apparently investigators were led to Ibarra with the help of video evidence and technology. There is no indication that he knew Riley at the time of the incident, or Laken, her name is. God. Anyway, so the New York Post spoke to Ibarra's wife, 23-year-old Layling Franco, about their background and her reaction to the charges against him. So according to her, they crossed the border into the US in September of last year, living for a time in New York City, where Ibarra worked for various food delivery app companies. In November, they split up. And Ibarra moved to Georgia to live with his brother, who appears to have a past connection with the university. And speaking on the allegations now levelled against him, his wife told the Post that the charges do not reflect the calm man she knew, and she would like the opportunity to speak with him. Despite that, she also said that if the allegations are true, he should pay for what he did. Yesterday, when he was arrested, my brother-in-law called me early to say he'd been arrested. We got married so we could join our asylum cases. He was the person I could see through. We've known each other our entire lives. She said he wasn't aggressive, none of that. We had problems as a couple, but our problems weren't physical. We wouldn't punch, but we'd raise our voices. I want to talk to Jose. I have a lot of faith this wasn't him, that there was a misunderstanding somewhere. But if he did, he has to pay for what he did. So, yeah, so this case and the Rachel Marin case just has caused, I think it's part of the reason why Donald Trump won, because of all this absolute anger over immigration, you know, so... Hi, Joanne. Yes, this is a mega chat. Mega chat, it is. A mega chat. Yeah. The thing is, America is full of different cultures, though. You have to, you do know that America was built on immigration. So it's not, I think most Americans, they'd have a bit of a cheek to say, oh, stop the immigrants. Most of them are immigrants from Ireland or from, where's the other place? Well, even Sweden and places like, America was built on immigrants. All Americans are immigrants. I think what the problem is the illegal immigration, isn't it? People crossing the border with false papers or no papers, and certainly people crossing the border. It's not about, there's a massive culture thing in culture mix in America, same as the UK. That's never going to be any different, is it? So I don't think it's the culture thing. It's the uncontrolled immigration and the fact that people are coming over either with no papers and also I still think what people have to remember is lots of people murder. Stephen Stearns is an immigrant. Lots of the cases we've covered, like Richard Allen's not an immigrant. Lots of the cases we've covered, they're not immigrants, so you can't blame it all on immigrants. But I do think something's got to be done with the fact that, the borders aren't controlled properly. So I hope Donald does his job, puts his money where his mouth is. Okay, so we're going to talk about Rachel now. So that leads us, to the Rachel Marin case that we've covered so intensively. We really have, right from the minute that Rachel went missing and was found murdered on the Mar and Par Trail in Maryland. She'd gone for a walk, a hike or a run. We're not sure if it's a walk or a run. And she was taken off the trail by this twonk, Victor the Viper. So remember when this first happened, and then the police announced that they had DNA from a cat. Now, I wanted to show this picture because it took ages to find Victor. So Rachel Marin was murdered, not this August just gone, but the August before. And he was only arrested this year. But again, it was good police work because he's an itinerant. He travels all over the place. He's like a ghost, isn't he? Travel, you know, he didn't have a car. He was traveling by train and Greyhound bus and this, that, and the other, all over America. And he seemed to have some family in Maryland. Again, we don't know all the details yet. We won't until the case comes to trial. But then at some point, they released this photo fit of him, which, to be honest, when he was arrested, I just thought it looks absolutely nothing like him. It looks a bit more, this is him when he was younger. The photo fit and the younger, his younger picture look alike. Now, maybe he changed his appearance by the time. This is his mugshot. But his eyes are so much more intense, aren't they? Well, of course, you know, by then, maybe he hadn't committed murder on this photo. He committed murder, and by now, he's committed at least 2 murders and other serious offences. That changes you as a person. It's got to change you as a person, hasn't it? You know, his eyes, now he's got those eyes. He hasn't really got them here. He's got cold eyes here. But here he's got those like mad eyes, those fucking, God, terrifying eyes. And again, probably the eyes were the last sight that poor Rachel saw. Murder must change you, mustn't it? Living like that, knowing what you've done, as much as you might think you don't care, or it's got to change you. And of course, on his photo fit, he does look like harsh. You know, he looks sort of contemptuous, but he doesn't look like that, I don't think. Maybe the nose is quite good, isn't it? But the eyes, it's the eyes that do it, isn't it? And of course, he changed his hair. Here he had this sort of almost military haircut, and here he's grown his hair. He probably did that on purpose and grew a beard and a moustache. You know, it's easy to change, even for a man. It's quite easy to change your appearance. And I remember reading a book about disguises, you know, that people use. And they were saying, you know, it's easy, just one distinctive thing is like if you put on a, you know, I don't know, a blonde wig or whatever, people will remember that blonde wig. They won't necessarily remember all the other things about you. Or if you have a bald head, or they'll remember a bushy beard, or people remember standout things. So if you put one thing on in your disguise, or grow your beard, or dye your hair blonde, people remember that, and they don't necessarily remember all the rest of you, you know. It's very difficult to do you know, it's very difficult to get a photo fit right, isn't it? But anyway, this was the photo fit of Victor the Viper, and this is his mugshot. So I think there are some similarities, but the eyes, look at his eyes. You know, there's a difference between his eyes there and his eyes there. He's definitely, that's a man who has seen hell almost. He's going to hell. He knows he's going to hell. His eyes are fevered, aren't they? This is a man now that's murdered at least 2 people that we know of. Horrible man. So, now, what I wanted to show you then, so we're going to have a look at how Rachel's mum met with Donald Trump. Let's have a look. Let me put some more windows down. So I hope he follows through with what he's promised to follow through with. Because, you know, he has promised that he's going to do this. So I hope he does it. And if he can do that, then there will be something positive about his presidency. Okay, let's Let's just have a look at this video.
Agents say that morale is through the roof ahead of Trump's return to the White House, but Democrat-led cities are already racing to prevent the deportation of illegal immigrants. Our next guest is the mother of Rachel Morin, the mother of the 5 who was allegedly murdered by an illegal immigrant last year. Patty Morin, her mother, joins us now. Patty, thank you so much for giving us some time this morning. I know nothing will ever bring your daughter back, but how do you feel about the former president making these appointments now to start the deportation process and get these criminals out of our country?
I am so happy. And President Trump already has a 4-year record of saying what he's going to do and then keeping his word. And the very fact that he listened to the cries of mothers and took it to heart and said that he was going to do this to protect not only our national security, but...
You know, it's hard not to be moved by that, isn't it? It's very hard not to be moved by that, her grief.
Americans and American families. I'm beyond words. I am so grateful because I know President Trump will keep his word and
I
will
hope
protect
so.
our country.
Patty, what did the former president, now the president-elect, promise you when you finally had the opportunity to meet him?
When I spoke with him, one of the first things he said was, we're going to close the borders. We're going to bring justice for Rachel and for the other families. And I think that the laws that are going to be passed should be nonpartisan because it affects every American. But I do believe that our families that have lost the ultimate lost life, that we should have bipartisan support. And I was really amazed when I went and spoke at a judiciary committee and to see the divide on the left. They were ridiculing and downplaying our grief and accusing us of being bribed to come and speak before.
I mean, that's a big misjudgment, isn't it, by Kamala Harris and by the Democrats too, because these were such high-profile cases. Another one as well is another young girl that was killed by 2 illegal immigrants, a 14, 15-year-old girl. I haven't even covered that yet. You know, I haven't got around to covering that. So I think that's a massive, you know, watching Rachel's mum talk now, I just think that really, you know, this immigration thing, maybe like the way that's how she felt. She's saying that the left were ridiculing them. I mean, surely not. You know, you can't believe that they would be doing that. So no wonder that Donald won, really. I mean, this has obviously been a big divide. And the Rachel Morin case and the Lake and Riley case in particular have been massive cases in America. I mean, we've taken an interest in them and followed them all over the world, haven't we? But in America in particular, then, you know, they're at the heart of this whole debate. So maybe the left just didn't take it seriously enough.
The committee. That just opened up my eyes at how divided our country is. And so I'm very grateful that President Trump.
You know, Patty, you bring up an interesting point, because you talk about the Democrats and how they reacted to you at the committee. Ever since he has now become President-elect Trump, this is what some of the governors are saying. Watch.
We were involved in specifically 122 lawsuits with the Trump administration. But we know their playbook. We know what they're going to do.
You come for my people. You come through me.
If you try to harm New Yorkers or roll back their rights, I will fight you every step of the way.
If there is any attack on the Garden State or on any of its communities from Washington, I will fight back with every fiber of my being.
I mean, they're saying if you come for our people, what about the American citizens? What about your daughter?
Yeah, see, what people don't understand is that sanctuary cities are actually a Middle Eastern religious cultural thing. And there are only 4 countries in the world that have sanctuary cities: the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, and Italy. And can you think of Middle Eastern?
Where's the sanctuary states in the United Kingdom then? What's she talking about? Sanctuary states? I've never heard of a sanctuary state in the United Kingdom. Let's have a look. All right, so there's a lot of sanctuary states in the United States, but what are sanctuary cities? So a sanctuary city is a municipality that limits or denies its cooperation with the national government in enforcing immigration law. What's a sanctuary city in the UK? She said the UK has them. Oh, city of sanctuary. Oh, they're... How many? There are city of sanctuary groups established in Bradford, Bristol, Chester, Coventry, Derby, Huddersfield, Hull, Ipswich, Leicester, London, Nottingham, Oxford, Sheffield, Swansea, and Wakefield. Did you know about that? No, I think I'm quite politically aware, and I didn't know about that. Now, I can feel a video coming on about, I can't go into it, I've still, I've been on live for quite a while and I've still got to finish off this about Rachel. But I don't know about you. I know there's a lot of UK viewers watching this. Did you know that we've got city of sanctuary groups in those areas? And a city of sanctuary group or a city of sanctuary state. City of... Oh, Joe, I really need to do a video about this, research it properly, because I do believe in immigration. I'm not a completely out and out anti-immigration person, as you know, and I don't like. But the thing is, what I don't understand sometimes about the UK government, the Spanish government, any government, is you cannot just pretend that nothing's happening. This is what I feel is happening at the moment. It's no good just putting your fingers in your ears and saying, no, like, oh no, let's not even look at this, or let's not even talk about this. You've got to talk about it. You can't ignore that it's even happening. I can't believe I've just learnt something there that I didn't even know at my advanced stage. And a person who does take an interest in politics, it's not as if I don't, but it's something that I've never heard of before. So I will be looking at that in a video. That'll be a contentious one, won't it?
Country that would want to destabilize and weaken these countries. And if you look, sanctuary cities, America has 190 sanctuary cities in 11 states. And in those states, because of this invasion of illegal immigrants, crime has not even doubled. It's like 800% increase, and it overflows to other states and other cities. So it's not just their people and their state. It is affecting every state. And I think something has to be done about it.
Let's talk about the background of this suspect, Victor Martinez Hernandez. He illegally crossed the border back in 2023. He's wanted for murder in El Salvador, charged with rape and murder.
Yeah, here he is, Victor the Viper. Looks nothing like that bloody photo thing. That's him when he was arrested. We watched the video of him being arrested. It was such a fabulous moment. I mean, and that was for us. God knows how it felt for the family of Rachel, to finally see him being arrested and at least know that he's not at large anymore. Because for all that time, from August through to when he was actually finally arrested a couple of months ago, he was out there eating pizza, drinking, working, having a normal life, while Rachel and her 5 children's lives were completely disrupted. So I don't think anyone would disagree that this guy should never have got over the border. I mean, how did he get over the border when he already had a murder charge against him? Now, you've got to remember, that is the border's fault, isn't it? So whoever's doing the border was doing it wrong. Apparently got him after his third time of trying. And he, wrote this havoc.
Of your daughter. He has ties to gangs as well. So he had already committed murder in his home country. He comes to America, has a fresh start, and does it again.
Yes. And they didn't do just the basic policies and laws. They were told actually not to do them and to fast track as many immigrants into the country as possible. If they had just did the standard DNA swab, they would have found out all that information. They had 3 opportunities.
Exactly. What's the point of DNA if you're not going to use it at the border? The first thing when someone says they want to come over your border, you give them a DNA swab and put them through the DNA database. He would have gone, wanted for murder. Why didn't they do that? I don't understand this. I must admit, I don't understand this. I'm going to really look into those sanctuary cities because now in America, states are controlled by they're autonomous up to a point, aren't they? But in the UK, they're not. Counties or cities, they're not autonomous. They have to follow the government guidelines, don't they? They can't turn around and say, oh, in our city, oh, well, maybe the law in Britain is such and such, but in our city, we're doing it this way. Shouldn't be able to do that in Britain.
At the border. And it was actually the 4th time when he was a gotaway. But if they had done it at any of those other 3 times, it could have saved my daughter's life.
Yeah.
But they're more interested in destabilizing our country. For what reason, God only knows. But it's unconscionable. I can't imagine that you're willing to give up and have casualties for the sake of whatever your political agenda is.
It's not right. Patty, we continue to pray for you. We want justice for Rachel, and I'm hoping that the former president can do just that. Thank you so much for giving us some time.
So there you go. Now we're going to have a look at DJ himself, Donald Trump, what he had to say about it on his YouTube channel. He actually referred to Victor as a Kamala Harris illegal immigrant. I think that's a bit unfair.
not just my daughter, but we've actually had two in the same.
Sorry, can I just say, this is the other girl that this guy's got on his T-shirt. He must be a relative. This is the other girl, 12 years old, was killed by 2 illegal immigrants as well. I'll need to look at her case in another video.
Same county that we're from, where illegal immigrants have come in and have caused rape and murder of our citizens. And the reason why I came here today and I accepted the invitation is because I really want our words to be heard, and I really want you to take to heart what we're saying. We're not here for a political stand, although we are. We're here because we're losing our moms, our daughters, our children to criminals.
No, sorry, but I don't like Donald Trump, as you know. But if he can help in that, that's very
controversial topic, immigration.
You can't get much more emotive than a mother talking about, seeing her child, her adult child's body. You can't get any more emotional than that, can you? You can't get any more emotive than that. So, Donald Trump, a little message for you. I hope you're going to do what you said you're going to do. Hope then that you do close the borders. But I mean, letting in legal immigrants, of course, immigration is important. Some people are genuine refugees. So I don't believe in banning all immigration, but I cannot believe that a person who's already murdered someone can get into a country. That, to me, in this technological day and age, it's so easy, isn't it? A DNA swab, a fingerprint, or the eye thing, or whatever. It's not that it can't be done now, so I don't understand why it's not being done. The other thing I'd like to see Donald, put his money where his mouth is about get these wars ended. End these wars. I'm sick of seeing wars. Children being murdered and things of any persuasion. I don't care what religion they are. I don't care what bloody political persuasion. I don't care about the ins and outs of wars. All I want to see is the end of them, and he says he's going to stop them, so we'll see. Right, I want to finish on a high point. So going back to Rachel Marin, and people have mentioned about her children. Remember she had 5 children, and when Rachel was murdered, we've looked at videos talking about it before. They all had to be split up and go because they were from different fathers. So, there was the family was sort of ripped apart, really. They were used to living with Rachel. Anyway, some good news is that Rachel's oldest daughter, Faye, has had a baby. So Rachel would now be a grandma. And let's have a look. I have shared it on the community post. What have I done with it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where's the picture? Oh, there it is. So, yeah, this is Rachel's granddaughter. This is Rachel's previous partner. He's shared this on his Twitter post, which actually should have it. Let me read out the name and everything. So this little girl, she's called Laylin Rachel Ann. She was born on November the 13th at 5:50 a.m. She weighs 6 pounds 2 ounces, and she is 19¼ inches long. It's such a beautiful picture, but it's so bittersweet, isn't it? So Rachel won't see her grandma. Rachel won't see her granddaughter, but this little girl is her grandma. She's got a guardian angel in heaven that'll be looking over her. So it's so sad, isn't it? The thing is, the ripples from these murders and these cases that we look at, we always think of the victims, but there's more victims, aren't there, than just the actual people that are murdered, because the families of victims, like we've seen Rachel's mother, they're so upset. Rachel's ex-partner, he was devastated. The children are devastated. Rachel's had a boyfriend at the time who came under some suspicion. Obviously, when Rachel first disappeared, he was the first one everyone was looking at. There's all these victims. It's like ripples in a pool. And even this little girl is a victim because she won't know her grandma Rachel. And that twonk took that grandma away from her. It's disgusting. I mean, she'll have a lot of love and she's got a guardian angel in the sky, but it's so, they should add these things onto sentences. These should be taken into account. It's so it's so emotional because it's so lovely. A little one coming into the world. You could come into the world. There's always a lot of hope around, isn't there, when babies are born, and they've got their whole life in front of them, and you hope that they're going to have a good life. But she'd be missing a grandma. But then, hopefully, the grandma's looking over her. Ay. So there she is, little Laylin. So there's a bit of good news. And, life goes on, doesn't it? It's scary, isn't it, really? I was thinking about that the other day. Life does go on, even when the most horrible thing, you have to get up and put one foot in front of another. No matter what happens in your life, if you're still here, your mission on life is not over. That's that saying, isn't it? If you want to know if your mission in life is over or not, if you're still alive, it's not. There's a reason that you're here. We all sort of suffer sometimes from depression, mental health issues. We think, what the hell is it all about? I don't think there's many people don't ever feel like that, is there? But at the end of the day, you are here for a reason, whatever it is, you're here for a reason. And if you can't make sometimes you can make your life more tolerable by helping other people. There's always somebody that probably would benefit from a smile or a kind gesture. I've experienced so many kind gestures as well from my chatters and that. I get twonks as well, of course. I get the twonks and I get the nasty messages occasionally, very occasionally, emails, etc. But you know what? You have to take that as well, because if it wasn't for getting those horrible things, I wouldn't have all these lovely, you know what I mean? If I didn't do the YouTube channel, I've got to sort of take the occasional twonk and the occasional nasty email or nasty message, because the overwhelming amount of support that I get, and I always try to be fair in comments that I make, but I do have my opinion. Sometimes people don't like me having an opinion. I've noticed that. But anyway, I do have an opinion. But I don't decry anybody else's opinion, much as I don't like Donald Trump, for example. at the end of the day, the people voted for him, and that's democracy for you. So we just have to see what he does. I just hope he comes through with his promises for Rachel and for this little girl and for Rachel's mum. You know, I hope he does stick by what he said. Okay, so that was a real... Oh, Seffi, thank you so much. That's very generous. 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Seffi. Very kind. Very kind. That'd be... Hi, Rini. Yes, Seffi's very generous. Thank you. I'm not sure who let me just see who the others are. I can have a look on my other... Oh, Rennie, it would be nice to see you in members. So that's Deek has got a membership. Hi, Deek. Dexcon1, Tara TJ, Silverson, and Yvonne Flanagan. Oh, and Ellie G, Unity Calling, and Amy. Congratulations. And thank you to Seffi. Okay. So on that note, again, very generous. And I also want to say thank you again to Kelly, who sent a super sticker. Thank you again so thank you so much. And after that mammoth stream, so we've talked about the latest in Sarah's trial, Anna Knezovich and the murder charges of Davido, Jojo Duggan, which is a new case. Oh, sorry, I keep wanting to say Duggan. I don't know why. Dullard, which is a new case. It's an old case, if you like, but looks like there's some activity on it, and somebody might be held to account for Jojo's murder. We've talked about Laken and Rachel, which of course their cases are intertwined. And something very interesting that's come up about these sanctuary cities. So I'm definitely be doing a video about that, about the sanctuary cities in the UK that we didn't even know about. Now we're going to find out about them. And I've got to research it though, because I don't know enough about it, but very interesting. So that's where we are. I hope you're all well. I hope you all have a good, where are we? We're on Friday, so have a good rest of the day or rest of the afternoon or rest of the evening, depending on where you are. I'm not sure exactly when I'll be back, but I will be back. Hasta la vista. So anyway, take care. That was a big one. I will, and just let me say, I will be chopping this up, editing it and making it into small ones, because some people like to watch the shorter videos and they don't like to watch a live. So I will be doing that. So those of you that have seen this mammoth chat, if you see those coming out, they'll be the ones that you've seen already. But sometimes people like to watch them again, because sometimes when they're in a live on the chat, they're not listening so much because they're obviously chatting. So, you know, at the end of the day, you just do what feels good for you. Okay, thank you again, Seffi, and I'll see you really soon in the next video. And